hearings are streamed live to YouTube so that anyone from the public is able to view and observe. The last thing I need to do is to read in our hearing script. This basically just covers the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump right into it. So this is the April 27th, 2022 session of the Zoning Hearing Examiner docket. My name is David Sturkey. I'm the Zoning Hearing Examiner for the City of Cincinnati, and I will preside over this hearing. The case before us today is case number ZH20220041. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and opposing parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any opposing party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. In this case, I'll allow both Jeffrey and Mr. Talaska to provide any background information, details about the project, anything you think is important for me to make my decision. And then, of course, why you think this project is appropriate and why I should grant the relief that you're requesting. If there were anyone here from the public, if any neighbors joined, I would then give them an opportunity to provide any input if they would like. I will give Walt Moeller, the zoning plans examiner, an opportunity to provide any testimony in addition to his staff report. And then I will go back to the applicant owner side. If you guys want to respond to anything that's said from the public or anything that's said by Walter Moeller, I'll give you an opportunity to do that at that time. And then finally give you the opportunity to make any closing remarks or any closing statements before we adjourn. Once I've heard from everyone, I'll close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make any comments. I may also refuse to consider hearsay testimony. That's generally evidence you want to introduce that consists of statements made by someone who's not present at this hearing. In the event of any technical difficulties with the Zoom technology, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly, but to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may have to continue or postpone this hearing. That'll be at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do is just swear in everyone who intends on testifying here today. So if you intend on providing any testimony at all, making any comments, asking any questions, doing anything other than just strictly observing here today, then you need to be sworn in. So if that is you, if you could take yourself off mute, I need everyone to answer out loud and to raise their right hand. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. All right. Let's go ahead. So Mr. Talaska, are you going to be taking the lead then for us here on the presentation?
Yeah, sure, I can start. And sure. Jeffrey, I would ask you to jump in with any details about the design that we've talked about. Well, what I'm asking for is to extend my front porch to a full 3-season room that will extend to the almost the full width of the house. The full front face of the house. It will stay within the current strictures. It won't go over on the property line. The variance is requested because the house is unfortunately sited very, very close to the property line, within inches in some areas, not where this is taking place, but in the back, within inches in some cases. So we do need the variance to be able to extend the porch from being a partial front porch to a full width front porch, which is common in the neighborhood, common in houses right across the street from me. In fact, have been done before. In the past couple of years, a house has extended its porch to the full width. And I'm doing it for a couple of reasons. I want to do it, one, because I want a comfortable room out there in the front, but I'm thinking in terms of energy conservation and being able to utilize the both passive and active solar elements that we're putting into this front porch, and having that extension is critical to it, because if we don't extend the porch, then I won't be able to utilize the windows that are right here off my left to be able to circulate air through that area into the whole house during the wintertime when I need it. And I won't be able to have an access to the basement we're planning on putting in, the underfooting under this porch, that will allow us to access what I'm hoping to put the batteries and the necessary things for the active solar power that I want to put on the roof. This is an investment in my neighborhood. It's going to be relatively expensive relative to the cost of the original cost of the house. It's going to be more than the original cost of the house. But I put money aside to do it, and I plan on doing it to improve the neighborhood My neighbors all like they've all signed off on the request for variance. The immediate neighbor right next door, Cecilia has agreed to do it. Once she understood that I'm not trying to encroach on her property line at all, she's very, very supportive of it. The Madisons across the street and all three people across the street are very supportive of it. And they appreciate my input into this neighborhood, which I would have to say that if I can't do this, then I would try to do it someplace else. You know, I might have to move, I might have to close down the whole thing and not do this thing and invest in my neighborhood and invest in the city's plan of trying to increase our being active in passive using energy sources that are renewable. So, you know, it's part and parcel of that. It's something I've been wanting to do for a number of years and finally have the time and the resources to be able to do it. And I plan on investing in my neighborhood. I think it will enhance property values. I don't know what else you'd like me to say. Jeffrey can give you the details of you know, what we've had, and I sure he and Mr. Moeller have talked over, or at least looked at what the specifics are for the plans.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't I give Jeffrey an opportunity to provide any testimony that you would like, and then I may have some questions after that.
Yeah, so just a little bit of additional information. So the existing front porch is kind of starting to fall apart. So it needs to be repaired or replaced anyway. It's essentially an elevated slab filled with dirt. And so it's allowing termites to get into the house, and the front stairs are falling apart. So it's something that needs to be fixed anyway. And that would be a fair bit of investment without really much benefit if we just put it back exactly where it was, whether as a porch or as a 3-season room, because of the things that Glenn had mentioned about the windows and access to the basement. I mean, we could still get access to the basement, but we'd be cutting more holes in the foundation. And another factor is the solar panels. So we have this porch faces pretty much due south, which is great for the rooftop solar panels. And we're showing 6 of them, which is really only about half of what you would really need to sort of go completely off grid for a house like this. And if we had to stay within the original footprint, we'd lose 2 more. And so it just becomes kind of essentially just the numbers just don't work out anymore. And you know, we've been very careful to take some inspiration from some of the other neighboring houses and you know, try to make this something that's really going to elevate the look of the house. I mean, one thing in particular that's not really even part of the variance, but it's part of the project as a whole is restoring the full front gable of the house to sort of put the look back to what it used to be. There was a dormer added in the 1990s, and that sort of messed up the roof line. So because we're going to be there and doing new siding and trim and all this work, we decided that this would also be a good opportunity to restore that, essentially that front rake board, and really sort of help bring the house back. And like Glenn said, if we can't make this pan out, then I mean, likely the project is just gonna kind of go away, and I don't think any of us really want to see that happen. So that's kind of my take, and yeah, happy to answer any specific questions. I think that we explained everything pretty well in the application supporting documents, and we got the signatures from all the adjacent neighbors and everything. So I feel like we've made a pretty good case here.
Okay, great. Walt, anything you want to add?
No, we had quite a bit of conversation prior to this project even coming in for a permit application, and did work through a lot of the issues that we had. So we are recommending approval.
Okay. Is this going to extend towards the front setback any more than it is existing?
No,
No more
that's
than what's existing, yes.
right.
Okay, gotcha. And that's compliant with the front, right?
Yeah, the front yard averaging would be compliant with where they're placing this.
Okay. And is it true that both adjacent houses on the same side of the street there each have front porches that extend the entire length of the home?
Yes.
And
Yes.
of course, and this won't extend the existing setback of the home on the, what is that, on the west side?
West side, no.
Yeah, if you're looking on the west side, it actually, because he is expanding at the full width, that's the reason for the variance, is that the house at that edge is sub-minimum for the setback. And any new work would have to meet the current standard, which is why we're here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, I've got bushes that are right here that actually come closer, that go closer to the property line than the porch will once we take them out. So actually she'll have more, there'll be more room for her because the bushes extend further than the porch will, and the bushes are going to be removed.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And I would just also add really quick that Glenn's house is not the only one that's sort of skewed to the west side of the property line. His neighbors on both sides are all sort of shifted to that same side, so that the relative distance between the houses is all pretty consistent. It's not like there's one is close to the right and one is close to the left. They're sort of all shifted to the left.
To the west, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have any other questions on this one. Anything else you guys want to provide in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
Oh, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I've said everything I need to.
Sure.
Unless anybody have any questions, Walter, are you good with everything as far as, okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. So I've had a chance to review the application. I've reviewed the staff report. Based on that and the testimony that I've heard here today, I'm going to approve the project. I need to formalize that decision in a written opinion. That's typically what takes a couple weeks for me to get out. As soon as I do finish that, I put it into a PDF and then I email it to everybody who's in the hearing. So you all will have that decision really just moments after it's complete. Once you have that email PDF with my signature, you can start working with Walt right away on getting the permitting moved forward. And so, yeah, any questions about any of that right now?
No, that makes sense. In fact, it's already in process for the building permit. So I actually have a few minor revisions to submit for that, basically relating to like step riser heights and fire rating and that sort of thing. But so that's kind of already in progress.
Okay, fantastic. All right, well, if you have any other questions that come up in the meantime, feel free to reach out to myself or to Walt. If you'd like a status update on where I'm at with the decision, feel free to reach out to me directly. Happy to provide you with an update there. I'll try to get it to you all as quickly as possible. But yeah, that's it. Good luck with the project. I love to see people investing in Hartwell. This is Hartwell, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So wish you all the best. And
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah,
Let me say thank you to everybody. Thank you, Walt, for looking at it and bringing these things up so that everything's on the up and up. That's really what I wanted more than anything else. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. We're adjourned.
All right. Thank you. You too.